November 1971, one of the most enigmatic events in the history of civil aviation in the United States took place. In the days leading up to Thanksgiving, Portland International Airport was experiencing its usual holiday rush. Amid the crowds, a man carrying a black briefcase approached the Northwest Orient Airlines ticket counter. He identified himself as Dan Cooper. His appearance drew no attention. He looked like a middle-aged, well-dressed, and composed businessman. He paid $20 in cash for a one-way ticket from Portland to Seattle. Cooper took a seat in 18E aboard a Boeing 727 aircraft. After takeoff, he ordered a whiskey and soda and lit a cigarette. The flight proceeded normally. Passengers talked quietly about their holiday plans. No one suspected that this unremarkable man was about to initiate one of the longest-running unsolved cases in American criminal history. Shortly after the plane became airborne, Cooper handed a small note to flight attendant Florence Schaffner. Believing it to be an unwelcome flirtation, Schaffner did not read it at first. Cooper leaned toward her and calmly informed her that he had a bomb in his briefcase. When the note was read, his demands were clear. Cooper opened his briefcase to reveal what appeared to be a bomb. The device consisted of 8 red cylindrical objects, wires, and a large battery. His demands were precise: $200,000 in ransom money, 4 parachutes, and a fuel truck standing by in Seattle. His demeanor was controlled and methodical. He did not raise his voice or display panic. The situation remained entirely under his control. Federal authorities and local law enforcement delayed the aircraft by keeping it in a holding pattern over Seattle. Flight 305 remained airborne for approximately 2 hours while the demands were being met. Throughout this time, Cooper remained calm. He engaged in polite conversation with the flight crew, commented on the scenery below, and even offered to pay for the drinks he consumed. His behavior suggested someone experienced and confident in his plan. When the aircraft landed in Seattle, the exchange was carried out. The ransom money was delivered, the parachutes were brought aboard, and 36 passengers were released. Cooper instructed that only the flight crew remain on the plane. He then set his next destination as Mexico City. However, he issued highly unusual flight instructions. The aircraft was to fly below 10,000 feet, maintain the flaps at 15 degrees, and keep the landing gear deployed. These demands indicated a detailed understanding of the Boeing 727's capabilities. After the aircraft took off again, weather conditions deteriorated rapidly. Darkness fell, and the Pacific Northwest was battered by strong winds and heavy rain. At approximately 8:13 p.m., somewhere between Seattle and Reno, the cockpit crew felt a sudden upward jolt from the rear of the aircraft. This indicated that the aft stairs had been deployed. Cooper had lowered the rear stairway, which at the time was believed to be impossible to open during flight. Wearing a business suit and loafers, he stepped into winds exceeding 320 kilometers per hour. Beneath him lay a dark, storm-ravaged landscape of forests and mountains. Carrying the ransom money in a parachute, Cooper disappeared into the night. What followed was one of the most extensive manhunts in FBI history. Search teams combed the suspected drop zones for days, covering vast and rugged terrain. Helicopters, military personnel, and volunteers searched hundreds of square miles. Despite these efforts, no definitive evidence was found. No parachute, no body, and no personal belongings were ever recovered. Over the years, hundreds of suspects were investigated. Individuals with military backgrounds, experienced parachutists, and known criminals were all examined. DNA samples recovered from the tie Cooper left behind were analyzed, but none produced a conclusive match. In 1980, a significant discovery was made along the banks of the Columbia River, at a location known as Tina Bar. A young boy named Brian Ingram uncovered 3 bundles of deteriorated cash buried in the sand. The bills were water-damaged, bound with rubber bands. and their serial numbers matched those of the ransom money. This discovery represented the only physical evidence ever recovered in the case. However, it did not resolve Cooper's fate. In 2016, after 45 years of investigation, the FBI officially suspended the case. Whether Cooper survived the jump has never been conclusively determined. Some experts believe the jump was fatal, while others argue that he successfully carried out his plan and vanished without a trace. D.B. Cooper did more than hijack an airplane. He created one of the greatest mysteries in modern American history. His identity, his fate, and his motivations remain unknown. What is certain is that on that night, a man stepped into the sky and was never found again.